Hey, what's going on everyone? I'm just going to be doing a quick video on a night photography tutorial. So I'm recording this on my iPhone, so forgive the lack of quality or the bad audio. So I'm here in Melbourne, Australia. I've just set up my tripods and camera, and I've framed up my shots for what I want to capture, which is the city skyline of Melbourne behind this building. So the very first things I want to do is I actually want to go to my lens, and right here I want to turn off image stabilization, and I want to do that mainly because if I keep that on and I take a long exposure, the actual glass in the lens kind of just hovers around and it can actually cause some softness in the image. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off, and the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to manual focus, which I'll explain in just a second. So the lens is all set up, and now I'm going to go to my camera and I want to view the image through the viewfinder, or I want to see what's going on. So right here I have what's coming through the viewfinder of the city. So the next thing I want to do to make sure my image will be in focus is to just zoom in on what's currently on my viewfinder. So I can just press the plus sign there. I'm using a Canon 70D and I'm using a 15 to 85mm lens. So I just want to go ahead and zoom in as much as I can on this image. So I'll just go in again, and depending on if you're using a Nikon or Sony, you should have this as well. So then now I can manual focus and get the sharpest image I possibly can by just going through and selecting what I think will look the best. So I'm really happy with that focus. Now I can go ahead to the settings of the camera and the exposure that I'll be using. So at the moment I have a 5-second exposure, an f11 aperture, and an ISO of 250. So I find this is a really sweet spot for taking skyline images in particular. Sometimes I'll increase the 5 seconds to 10 or 20, and I'll drop down the ISO just to keep the quality and the noise to a minimum. So those are the settings that I'll be using for this image, and again I'll put a link down below to my website where you can see the actual image and maybe download it if you want. So I'll just go ahead and wait for my tripod to just steady up as I'm shooting on this platform, which is a little bit unstable. So that's pretty much good to go. I'll just do that so I can look through the viewfinder one last time. So that all looks good. So now I'll go ahead and press the shutter and see how the image turns out. So there we have the image, and again I'll put it down below so you guys can check it out, and I'll also put it in the video. So that's it pretty much for this quick nighttime photography tutorial. I'll be doing more of these in the coming weeks so you guys can get a better hang of doing nighttime photography. I'm learning myself, so if you've got any tips or pointers, put it down in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching.